The following is my conversation with Stefano Migliorini. Stefano was originally a professional bike racer in Italy and actually won the BMX World Championship in 1986. He was one of the pioneers of downhill mountain bike racing in Italy, among the first to be sponsored. His initial sponsor was GT Bicycles, and he achieved multiple podium finishes at World Cup events throughout Europe. After retiring from professional riding in 1998, due to injuries, he began working in the bicycle industry. He had an extensive career in the bicycle industry, first with Cinelli, then Kona bikes. He helped develop their European business from basically nothing in Europe, as well as Marzocchi suspension, handling their OEM and export. But the turning point came when he met Livio Suppo, who was actually the Moto GP team manager for Ducati for many years, and they became mountain biking partners. Because of Livio's difficulty to ride, because of their different fitness levels, because Stefano had such an extensive career in mountain biking, this led to experimenting with early EMTBs and showed the potential to make cycling more accessible to the rest of the world. And in 2016, they founded THOK e-bikes. We're going to hear the story of Stefano and his journey in the cycling industry, from a rider to a professional and then to now an entrepreneur. This is the Business of Cycling podcast.
Stefano.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great to be here with you today.
Also for me.
Yeah, so we were talking, thank you for having me here. We were talking when we went to the Tribe event. We were at the Tribe event a couple months back. And, we had I guess I just wanted to sit with you and kind of hear more about your company. I think this is an amazing thing that you've done. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's special for me to talk to entrepreneurs that have done something like this. So I think it's really, I'm happy to have this time with you and to be able to hear more about it, about your story. So I guess today, maybe just to get started, you can tell me a little bit about where you're from originally and kind of how you first got into biking.
Yeah, of course, I'm coming from Italy,
yes.
For sure, from Turin. And, when I was young, I had my brother, old brother, that was riding motocross. And I'm always, at that time, BMX with AT coming in Italy TV. And, I was dreaming to make same things that my brother doing with motorcycle. And I was copying him in BMX.
Okay, so your brother rode motorcycles?
Yes.
Like raced?
Yeah, race motocross.
Okay.
Motocross. And I was doing with, all bikes, I was doing similar things like motocross, but with bicycle.
Right, because you couldn't ride a motorcycle yet.
No, of course, I was too young. Okay. We're talking about around 12 years old, 30 years old.
Okay.
So when AT with the BMX coming in Italy and coming around the world, everybody bought a BMX.
Right.
At that time, BMX arrived also in Italy, so I start to do the same things that I do.
You saw your brother doing?
Yeah, for sure. And I start to make jump, riding in muddy condition and riding, copying the motocross rider. So at that time, I started my passion around bikes.
And BMX was new at the time?
Yeah. At the time, we are talking about 83, 84.
Okay.
So BMX was new, arrived in Europe, but around the world, the promo was the EMTB. The young guys pedaling the BMX with the, in the film, and everybody, tried to ride BMX. At the time, also, the racing BMX arriving, and then I start to ride BMX at the time, and then I spent 10 years of my life riding BMX. Then around the military, time, I jumped in the mountain bike and I rode cross country and then downhill, and been a pro rider until my 29 years old.
So you were 29. So you did the military, but you did a lot of BMX, but was any of it organized or was it just for fun?
No, I took part of the BMX race for sure.
Okay.
At the time I started also the World Championship, Italian Championship, so I organized the UCI, the Federation.
Okay. And you were in the BMX World Championships?
Yeah, I've been World Championship one time. So
you won the World Championship?
Yeah, I won in '86.
Wow.
I won 3 European Championship,
Okay.
3 World Cup, and 10 times Italian champion in BMX.
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 Okay, so you had BMX experience, we would say.
Yeah, I like all pro riders, mountain bike pro riders at my age make the same,
The same kind of path.
Yeah,
where it was like
same
you
thing.
started with BMX.
Of course.
And but BMX kind of died off.
No, it makes still at the same position. So it's something like it's like motocross with pedaling. So
Right,
it's still be a good. It's Olympic game.
Yeah.
Still, good former for mountain biker, for pro rider on
Sure.
road, for biker. So and you can start BMX at the 6 years old. So it's very form sport for 2 wheels.
Right.
If you think about John Tomac, it's very popular for our age and our world. Make the same, for sure line than mine. So
Sure.
but also, his son started with BMX and now he's the American champion motocross. But also other road bikers, road professional rider did the same thing. Started
Sure.
with BMX at 6 years old. Then during the career, they changed the passion in mountain bike, road, and other category or level of bikes for sure.
So you, after military, you started riding mountain bikes.
Of course.
And so what, did you immediately start riding competitively?
Yeah, I'm a competitive person, so I like to make a race competition. So
Right,
everything, I love to ride everything, and I love to make competition.
Sure.
So
you sort of naturally found yourself in mountain biking. And you already had the experience on the BMX, and mountain biking was sort of new then, right?
Yeah, for sure. Everybody start mountain bike in cross country, discipline.
Okay.
And then everybody start in discipline cross country. Then, for sure, my good feeling was the technical, the downhill.
Sure.
Then arrived the downhill too, and in '91 I try also downhill, and it was I love at first.
But tell me about like the first downhill races. Were you just literally like taking a ski lift up to the top of a mountain like in Piemonte, or what was it like?
No, I remember very well. My very old friend Pippo Marani is very, trail builder of the very important racing World Cup at the moment in Trentino, Val di Sole. It's a very important race. And when arrived the downhill race in Europe, he invited me. I was in military, time, and I was riding BMX. And he told me, "Hey, Miglio, arrived the downhill discipline, so you can try it." I came to Sestola in central of Italy, in Emilia, and at the time was a very easy organization. The van and the trail and the car bring the rider to the top of the mountain.
Okay.
And then we make a chrono, one by one, and I did the first run. So
Okay, and was the trail clearly marked? Was it like, or was it a little bit?
it was very primitive.
Yeah,
So it was
okay.
dirty, was in some cases was like a ski trail, so
Sure.
it's a very jungle condition.
Right.
At the same time, so it was very funny. So I
Yeah, it was
remember
fun.
very well the feeling, my passion that grow every time when I was make a corner.
Yep.
So I say, hey, it's very funny. So it's longer than BMX, and the feeling was very similar. Technical, you can feel very well, you can control the bikes, and was I think 6 minutes. So
Sure.
the BMX race is 42 seconds, and it's different feeling. It's a very natural condition. So and was I love from the first time for sure.
Okay, sure. And so then you rode for years. Also, you were on one of the first Italian national teams. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been in the national team, but I was the first Italian rider in the international American team. I've been in '93. I've been in the GT international team.
Okay, and that was a team that traveled and competed all over the world?
Yeah, for sure.
And you were the first Italian to be...
Italian, yes.
Okay. And so then you competed in the Olympics, you competed in World Championships.
Unfortunately, the Olympic is the cross-country discipline, not the downhill.
There was no downhill.
No downhill,
Okay.
no. At the moment, it's not downhill too. So
There
it's
still isn't, okay.
BMX.
So-
Unfortunately, I arrived late in the
But it was
BMX.
UCI. So
Yeah, it was UCI, World
UCI.
Championship,
Okay.
for sure. And at the time was 8 races around the world, and the team help us to turn around the world, and we make race in every continent, and at the end we have overall classification,
Sure.
and then it's normal championship like the world championship in one race. So at the time the world championship was with the Italian team, the national team.
Sure.
And every top rider take part of the national team, and in the World Cup we had the team, and I've been in the GT international team.
Okay. And so you rode competitively. I imagine you had some pretty interesting results.
Yeah, he had the third overall in '93. And
At
I
the World
finished
Championships?
Yes.
Okay.
And I finished several times in the podium in the World Cup.
Okay, that's great. And so you had this passion, and then you continued this passion into your professional life, right?
Yeah.
You began working in the bicycle industry.
Of course. I had the opportunity when I stopped racing in '98, end of '98. I had several offers from a company, and I started to work for a group. It was Cinelli, Columbus, and Treti, like expert manager. And I had the opportunity to see the other side of the business for sure. Not only the development racing products, but also the organization, the R&D about the products, and also the sales organization. And it was very interesting because at that time I've been a 3T rider, and Colombo invited me, and I take part of the 3 year of my first job in the business, and was very interesting. I understand very well the network, I understand very well the supply chain. And I complete my experience in terms of complete view about the bicycle.
So you're working in this company that was a bike company, also a components company.
Yes.
And so you began seeing how products are developed, how they're sold. You were the export manager, so you got to see. And I know in smaller companies in Italy, you can see a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's really helpful. And so you enjoyed it, and it sounded like you were like, I like working in this business. I want to work in this business.
Yeah, of course. I have a passion for pedals, so I love to pedal road bikes, BMX, mountain bike, electric bikes, everything that pedals. So for sure, I love also now to ride the road bikes, and for sure have the opportunity to see the complete, complete view about this business. It was a very emotional time for me, but also complete my background, because I know very well the racing parts, the product part in terms of competition, but nothing about the research and development about the standard product for the market. Then I understand very well the distribution, the different, system of distribution, and overall, talking about worldwide. And as you know, Italy, it's a little bit different than Germany, but completely different than Australia and American. With this experience, I had a complete, view of the bicycle business.
Yeah, that's what's great about, I think, working and living in this business is you can see every part of it. It's not simple. There's a lot of chaos, but you can see a lot of different parts of the business in one day. Like you can go in one day, you can see the marketing team, the product team, the production, and I don't think in many industries you can do that.
You know what? I think that if I'm seeing and try to understand why it was very emotional, but I was very angry. I want to see any detail, understand better.
Sure.
Because I stopped with my wife when I arrived at the end of '98. The result, I had several hands injuries, and my feeling was not so good, and my passion, my not complete fun like the begin.
Sure.
After I say I'm competitive, I would like when I make a race, I would like to win the race for sure. I can do 10 or last, but I love to make my best.
Do your best.
In this case, I have a penalty in terms of performance. I say, hey, probably it's better stop before the end of my career and put my passion in the business. And I understand that was something good, and I put all my energy in understand and see how the business is. And I understand very well. Faster was very full time because fortunately I was very concentrated on it, and I fired these 3 years in 3T for sure.
You what? The 3 years?
Yeah, I hate
Okay.
these 3 years.
Okay, you devoured.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Okay.
remember when we started Giro d'Italia. I never been in the Giro d'Italia. I was a sponsor,
manager.
manager.
Okay.
At the same time, I was with the team, understand how the rider prepared the race,
Sure.
how the mechanic prepared, and how they assemble the underbar. At that time, 3T was underbar and stem. I say, hey, that is very interesting. Understand what is the other side of the business that nobody knows.
Sure.
And it was very interesting. And I spent these 3 years very focusing and spending 100% of my time on it.
Okay, and so it sounds like you were very happy about the career path that you were on. You were in at Gruppo, which is Cinelli, 3T, and then you went and worked for, what was it after Gruppo was?
Kona. I was
Kona,
in Kona.
okay, Kona bikes.
Yeah, but it was clear that my passion is bicycle for sure, but I love to ride mountain bike.
Mountain bikes.
And my know-how, my DNA is off-road. Then I decide, after this period of form period, I decide to return in my
roots, yeah. The roots.
And I remember I was discussing with Mr. Colombo that helped me to make this beginning of career in terms of job and work time, and I say I need to be back in the mountain
biking. You told
and,
him, and he was trying to work in mountain biking, but it wasn't working. It sounds like.
Yeah, he pushed a lot. Cinelli, if you remember, Rampichino was the first mountain bike, Italian mountain bike, and also with 3T we developed products, stand and bar, but probably was not the correct time, or maybe we have not the correct organization in order to make something good.
Sure.
At the end, the component at that time was absolutely 100% American. And then at the time I had a good offer from Kona, and I decided to jump in the Kona Europe organization, and I was taking care about the European market and bike park projects.
Okay.
And that was something very close to my experience, my background for sure.
Sure.
And my know-how was absolutely aligned with the request from Kona.
So you worked for Kona for, I think you mentioned, about 12 years. You developed their European business and probably saw all the aspects of the distribution of an American company and how to kind of break into the market, how to make it work. You were responsible for Italy.
Yeah.
Okay. And so in 12 years, I imagine, you saw everything you could see in the mountain bike market. And then after Kona, you went to?
I went to Marzocchi.
Which is a fork manufacturer.
Fork manufacturer.
Okay.
And it was clear from 3T to Kona to sell, organize, and develop products and develop marketing, sell stuff for products completely different than the complete bikes. Then with Marzocchi, it's something again different because it's very technical parts. Suspension, it means also setup. It means feeling about different use and technical part of the service of the network. So I saw again another side of the business because the service center is one of the very important point for the company that makes suspension.
Okay.
Because if you set up well the suspension, work well, you can have fun and a good performance. If you are not able to set up the suspension, does not make sense to buy a suspension. So it's something that have a big effect on the performance. And again, understand better the service organization, how the quality of the service have effect on the final consumer.
Okay, so you were with Kona. It was more the bike's ready, it's big, or it's built. You just kind of got to push it through. Whereas with the components, it's much more around kind of serving the customer, servicing the customers, a much more specific job. And that was in Europe or just Italy again?
Yeah, I've been, team support, team sponsoring support, and then export manager for outside Italy. So
all of Europe.
Yeah,
all
and then Europe. Open also, the technical relationship with OEM.
Okay.
So it means Europe, American, also in Far East. Understand very well the network about the Far East supplier, and again the technical problem when you specs a fork on the bikes, which problem you can face and how you can solve it. Because at the end, when you have a problem, I understand very well at that time that if you have a problem, it's normal. But if you solve the problem fast, you can make a good goal. So and that was again another step about my
training.
Yeah, for sure.
So you were doing a lot of OEM business.
Yeah.
With Marzocchi. So this is a fork. Marzocchi is an Italian fork manufacturer. The goal was to get those into as many producers like OEMs as possible.
Yeah.
And you had a big territory.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And then did that for 3 years.
No, I did 6 years.
6 years. Okay, 6 years. So you stayed for 12 years and then 6 years. And it sounds like you got to a point where you were kind of like, I think I've seen everything. Is that kind of what happens in your...
Yeah, for sure. Because the story said that at the end of my story with Marzocchi was sold to Fox.
Okay.
So I had two opportunities to go in other business, but also in bicycle business, but different opportunities, or stay in Fox. So at the end, I say probably I at the end of my trails and say, okay, I know very well about this kind of business. Now it's time to do something different. At that time,
because if you would have went to Fox, it would have been kind of the same thing.
Yeah, something similar, and I would like at the time I was looking for something new step, and it was clear at the time that the market business changing. So from B2B, B2C, something was changing, and at the time was the first chain reaction, the e-commerce coming, and the business was changing. Also in my job in Marzocchi, I tried to manage e-commerce OEM that in that time trying to open a new opportunity of the business. Was clear that the market at that time was looking for different opportunity to make the business.
Direct to consumer
or different typologies of business for sure.
Okay.
Direct to consumer, traditional
or the big online players like Chain Reaction and Wiggle.
Course,
you were seeing the market was changing.
Yeah, for sure. And at the same time, I met Livio Suppo. Livio Suppo at the time was the team manager Ducati. We had a good relationship from the beginning because we are two passion person. And at that time,
how did you meet him?
Yeah, because he was a team manager of Ducati, and Marzocchi Ducati, they are very close. They are in Bologna at the time.
Okay.
Very close, and Livio Marzocchi fork. And my boss in Marzocchi told me, hey, Miglio, there is a team manager Ducati that need your help to set up the forks. I discovered that Livio was living in Turin at the time, so I organized a meeting a riding with Livio. We ride together, and I helped him to set up the fork.
And Livio was the team manager of Ducati's Grand
Moto GP.
MotoGP. And he did that. So he's kind of a famous...
For sure.
Team manager. And
I think it's in activities is the best, and with the best result team manager in activities at the moment. Probably is the one of the most
the winningest.
The winningest for sure. And he won, I think, 5 titles with markets, 2 with Stoner, and in Ducati and in Honda. So he have a important job in like team manager on teammate in one of the most important company motorcycle, Ducati, Honda, and Suzuki.
Okay.
So I just want to take a minute and let you guys know that in addition to the work that I do on the Business of Cycling podcast, I also do e-commerce consulting for cycling brands. I've helped numerous brands in the industry get double-digit growth while maintaining harmony with the distribution network. So if your e-commerce or Amazon sales are underperforming and you're looking to optimize, just drop me a line and we can look things over together. You can find me at Wyatt@velomedia.io. That's Wyatt@velomedia.io. Now let's get back to the show.
Okay.
And at that time, we were starting to ride normal mountain bike together.
With Livio.
With Livio.
You guys became friends.
For sure, became friends. And, again, we are two passion guy, and we love to ride together mountain bike.
Okay.
But we have big limits because I was a ex-pro rider with, for sure, 4 different fitness also.
Sure.
He is a smoker.
He's a smoker?
Team manager.
Yeah.
So, we spent time together, but was clear that was very funny when we spent time on the table, eating and talking.
Right.
Was riding, I was, not super fun because not riding fast as I would like to do.
Sure.
And Livio was all time at the limit.
He was busy. I mean, he was very, very, really winded and had a really hard time. Yeah. So he wasn't having fun.
Yeah, we tried to do it, but was clear when he came back from Japan in I think 2012, with a engine. electric engine with external battery, external motor, and he said, Miglio, we have the opportunity to ride together at same level.
He had this idea.
Yeah, he has this idea because
And this is the first time he mentioned it to you.
for sure.
So he just brought this motor that he got from Japan.
Yeah, for
What
sure.
kind of a motor was it? Just
I don't remember the name, but I think it was Sunstar or something like that.
okay.
And,
And he said we're going to ride together. And did he have a bike, or what did he want to do?
He had normal bikes. We applied this motor around the bikes, and we understand that with this kind of support, we can ride together. We can talk. He can ride at my same level, especially when you climb. It was funny. After 1 or 2 years, Trek launched the
I remember that it was at the Giro d'Italia, I think 2014, when Contador came in on the e-mountain bike. Absolutely. I remember that.
And he bought the first mountain bike because
Okay.
I remember one time when we was riding, a man with Lapierre Bosch motor passed us and say, "Hey, why it was funny because he say, Miglio, why the bike company still doing the muscular bikes instead the electric? Because it's clear that you can have fun, we can ride together, so it's something more democratic."
Sure.
After some days, he bought the trade bikes, and we start to ride together.
Okay.
At the time, I was complete muscular rider, very straight and say, "Hey, I'm
Traditional,
muscular,
yeah.
I'm muscular, I'm strong." So, and I didn't test the bikes before. Then, during the end of the season, Livio spent 1 month around the world for the racing. I say, "Hey, give me your bike tracker," and I put again the Marzocchi fork, and we can start to set up the bikes. I remember very well the first ride. I was riding the track with strange geometry, but it was very clear that I have fun the first time, that I have fun when I was climbing the technical trail.
Where normally you'd be tired.
Yeah, for sure, tough, and for sure it's a challenge to reach the top, but it's not funny, for sure. The first riding was clear, say, "Hey, Miglio, it's a new world. I remember very well perfectly when I was riding down, I was thinking how I can climb again in different trail and have fun again.
Right.
So it was clear at the time that e-bikes is a new world for everybody. Also for me, that I was 100% convinced that muscular is muscular. It's another discipline, another sport. I still riding mountain bike, muscular road, but also e-bikes, e-mountain bike can higher the level of your riding.
Yeah, elevate.
And that was clear perfectly. It was like on off. It's like a bottle.
Sure.
Say, I was very
You kind of had this moment where you're just like, okay.
Yeah, that is.
Okay, and what did you do?
Yeah, I developed the bike about Livio bikes. I developed, change geometry, I make setup.
Okay, you set it up to way you wanted it
yeah,
to
for
be.
sure.
Okay.
And then when Livio be back, from the beginning, Livio told me, "Hey, Miglio, we have to do something in the bicycle business."
He wanted to do something.
He wanted to do
so
something.
he was really he really saw some opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. But he started to propose me different business is normal mountain bike, normal muscular bikes. And you know better than me that it's not easy to make something in the normal business bicycle. And then when he be back from this long travel, trip, I say, "Hey, Livio, probably we have the opportunity to do something together." And we have a meeting together. We set up. I told him my idea, my approach, and my feeling about e-bikes.
What was your feeling?
Yeah, my feeling was something like I'm still absolutely sure about it. So e-bikes is something that open the market for sure.
Sure.
360 degree to everybody. So we can ride together without any problem. We can have fun without any problem. We can ride in muddy condition, in snow condition, cold, in warm and different condition of, riding. At the same time, different level of fitness, different level of opportunity to ride, and for sure it's 100% funny. And again, open the market, the bicycle market to everybody.
Okay.
So
there was also like a business opportunity that you were saying.
It is.
Okay.
And then again, we are young, but not so young. Was the opportunity for me to keep the bicycle passion also for the future. Because again, for sure, if you are working, if you are spending a lot of time in your office, you have no opportunity to make a training.
Did you want to do something on your own? Did you always have that idea?
Yeah, for sure. And we started to say, hey, makes sense to do something.
No, but you personally, did you always want to have your own business?
Yeah, for sure. I think now I can say probably when I stopped racing, but also when I was rider, at the time, we have two different opportunities when you are rider. I was rider, be part of the big team, or be part of the big team, and you can develop and manage your own sponsor. And from the beginning, I developed my own sponsor. I remember, again, this is the reason why Colombo invited me to be part of the treaty, because I was at that time was sending, the starting list or the final classification to my sponsor.
Sure.
I was managing my sponsor. And
so he saw that you were kind of a...
Probably from the beginning, I was loving to do something from my own.
Sure.
And it was clear with the e-bike, say, hey, this is probably the moment. It was Livio, that is an expert and passion guy. I have absolutely the know-how to approach this market. And then we sit together, say, how we can do. And then I remember again, I didn't, and it was clear that at the time we say, okay, we can do something. But we have a different problem, because we have to find finance, we have to find and understand better how we plan the future.
You needed to come up with a plan, and I guess my question is like, so you guys needed to design like a business plan.
Yeah. It was clear that e-bike was the opportunity to do something together, but we never make a business plan. We never, figure out a line of the business. And then I remember after some days of discussion, we had a dinner with our actual partners. So
your current partners.
Yeah, for sure. Bernocco Giuseppe and Sebastiano Astegiano. And then we have a dinner together. I don't remember this kind of the dinner, but we have a dinner, and someone introduced them to us and say, hey, we have and then Livio, that is a very convinced and sure team manager, and was very clear that at the time he would like to make a business in the bicycle.
Okay.
And then he present our idea to our...
But it was an idea. You didn't
just
have...
an idea.
Just an idea.
Just an idea. And when we start to talk, also they are very passion guy and business passion guy, not bicycle, but business passion guy. They say, hey, which is the idea? We sit together, we have a dinner at the end together, and I remember that it was clear that we put together idea, solution, and something more about the future. And then Bernocco at the time say, hey, we can have a meeting tomorrow morning. If you want, you can come at 10 and we can stop and talk about it. I remember when the day after we was very emotional to come there.
Because these were big entrepreneurs, right?
Sure,
these are like really established entrepreneurs, and so for you guys to have a meeting with these guys was a big opportunity. Absolutely.
It was clear that it was a big opportunity. At the time, we was looking about the information about them, because I never met them.
Okay.
I understand that it was a very serious, very patient guy, and they love to do the things and follow directly. They are doing very important things, and they are
hands-on.
Yeah. And this was very interesting, because we have a meeting, we put several ideas together, and we say how we can do. And Bernocco say, hey, Miglio, we have to put number together,
right.
And then we say we divide in 4. Easy. It was very incredible how easy it was for him. That is something natural and daily, solve problem daily, day by day. And for us, it's something very big. Maybe the idea was bigger than the real. But then we start to think about it, and then after a long time of discussion, we decided to start a company. And it was clear from the beginning that Bernocco say, okay, because the idea was we can open the company, and we at the time we was looking around our manager for manage the company. At the end of the discussion, Bernocco say, hey, it's clear that we can do it, we can put this number, we can help each other, but you have to manage the company.
Sure.
And he say, you have, because you have know-how, you have everything. And it was clear at the time. I was very surprised at the start, because I was absolutely, I have not the confidence that
you could run a company. Run a company.
And at the same time, I say probably in this group of person is the one that have know-how, they know the business, and they say, okay, I took 2 days of time to think about it, but at the end we say, okay, we start. And
Did you talk to your wife about this?
for sure, of course.
And what did she say?
It was again. She are absolutely sure. She are more sure about me than me.
Okay.
So she say, hey, it's the correct time. So she always support me also in the past in Kona, in Marzocchi, in all job that I did. For sure, it pushed me and it support me 100%. And then it was clear that it was a good opportunity, good company, good partner, and the condition was the perfect to try to.
Sure,
make.
to give it a shot. So you thought to
Why not?
yourself, if I'm going to do this, now's the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you guys started the company.
We started the company from zero.
Okay.
From zero.
And to start a company like that, I suppose you have to have some cash to buy the first amount of bikes. What was the first order of bikes that you guys bought?
You know, at the end, it's something that when we start to think about the company, we start to think about, how we can do the bikes, we can finance the bikes. Okay, for sure we put money, but at the same time we start to contact, because then I discovered that I have a very good network, a good contact in the bicycle business.
You just
sure.
discovered
Yeah.
that?
No, I discovered when at the end, I remember the first Shimano motor, the delivery was Stefano Migliorini, not THOK bikes.
Okay.
Well, just to say, hey, I had for sure. I know that I for sure have a good contact in the bicycle business, but at the end, the real fact is more than my idea. And then I discovered that I know very well the network about bicycle, about
supply
the components,
chain.
supply chain, the Taiwanese, the Asia, Italian, and we start to make the first idea, because we start from idea about the brand, about the bicycle, about the category of the bikes. And then we decided absolutely at the beginning that Shimano, I had some rumor from Far East that Shimano was thinking and launching the new motor. I contacted Shimano and I tested Shimano, say, okay, we say Shimano will be the first motor.
Sure.
And then we opened opportunity with the frame, we made the proto, and we made everything. And we set up the procedure to that the same that we are still using now, the procedure when we start to think about the bikes. So me and Livio say, okay, we need to make this kind of bikes. I work on the component, geometry, setup, angle, and everything. Then we pass my idea to Drudy, that is
Designer.
the design, Marquez and Valentino Rossi helmets designer. So he helped us to make the line, she make the concept and everything. Then we have internal engineering, but in the past we have external engineering in very close to my past business, and we develop geometry, the angle, everything. And then when we have the 3D drawing, say, okay, now it's time to make the frame and order the first quantity. At the end, I remember we ordered the first frame and I built up the first 15 bikes.
15 bikes.
Yeah, 15 bikes by my hands.
Okay.
I remember when we launched the bikes on the website, we sold the first 15 online in 2 nights.
Oh.
And I was very surprised because people wrote me and say, hey, I'm selling these bikes and I want to buy THOKs. I was very surprised about it. And then the story started for sure.
So you had your first order of 15 bikes, which you made in the Far East, I presume?
Yeah.
Yep. And you had already done the prototyping and everything like that. So you had the first 15 bikes, you sold them online.
Yeah.
And you decided to use that strategy instead of in the stores. Why did you decide to do that?
It was clear when we start to think about the business. I had an absolutely clear idea that the market, the system distribution is changing for sure.
Sure.
We started the company. We launched the company in November 16. Then I delivered the first bike in May 17. And it was clear that the system, the distribution system have to change for sure. We opened the website and we was clear that the stock and how the dealer buying the bikes, it's something that at that time was changing for sure. And we decided to go directly, to the final consumer in terms of communication, in terms of offer, in terms of everything. But we would like give the opportunity to the final consumer to buy directly by THOK, but we can deliver to the shop or at home, but keep involved also the bike shop in the service, because at the end it is an opportunity for the dealer to have a new consumer that they never saw. At the same time, the e-bikes again is a new world, new clients, new know-how about the clients, and new also experience about the bikes. So when you talk about a biker that receive at home the bikes, it's easy to assemble the front wheel. client that never saw the bikes, it's something very difficult. And it was clear that we opened the website, but at the same time I opened the network of service center in Italy, and then step by step I opened my network outside Italy, and then open and develop the idea about distribution, because you discover the problem when you face it, and then we are still solving problem step by step when you're facing, for sure.
So you're doing some online and some in distribution, but you're at the moment you're expanding, and I guess at this point, when you sold out the first 15 bikes and you got the next round of bikes, it sounds like you guys had made a good bet that the market was growing.
Yeah.
And so with that, it sounds like you made a product that people liked. And so you grew throughout the 16, 17, 18, 19. And then I guess when COVID hit, how did that affect the business?
There is another step in the middle.
Yeah.
So in 19, we opened the partnership with Ducati. Ducati partnership was very interesting because it gave us the opportunity to see another world, motorcycle world, different know-how, different approach to the market, and we start also the Ducati bikes powered by THOK.
Sure.
And then we make again another opportunity to experience special, because Ducati bikes was sell in the Ducati store. So we open a different experience, and we open again a new market. Then COVID arrived. I remember very well when we discovered when the COVID started. I was in China, and when I understand the first time the pandemic war was everybody was under the panic, and we had a lot of container on the way.
Okay.
I was in the panic condition. They say, hey, how we can do? We stopped then for 1 week to understand how the things was, and then we open again. We assemble some bikes. Was thinking about how we can approach, but for sure was clear from the beginning that online opportunity in crazy situation can be not a solution, but can be a tools, for sure.
Sure. So you guys already had the online, so
Yeah.
you were well suited to kind of
For sure.
continue selling online.
Yeah. I remember very well that the first days the dealer called, or the service center called me and say, hey, Miglio, stop the delivery, stop everything, because
Sure.
nobody knows. And then, during the COVID time, it was clear, everybody knows what happened. And then that was a good opportunity to everybody, especially for a little company like us that was not structured enough to approach the COVID time. The number grow, difficulties arrived, because at the end it was not big enough to approach this problem, and for sure we sold all bikes, for sure. But again, the structure, the sale organization, the tech and everything was not absolutely in line with the request of number, and everybody makes a crazy number, for sure. And then when they finish the number, the market asking for a lot of bikes, and nobody can deliver, because also the supply around the world was not able to produce it.
So everything slowed down,
Yeah, for sure.
just like everybody else. So you guys had the same issue, and I guess after COVID, or I guess once kind of everything passed, were you guys able to, at that point, kind of get back on your feet after COVID? Because I know that this was a really hard time for everybody, especially after COVID, because everybody thought that there was going to be, this was going to go on forever, but then everybody just made too many bikes. And so I guess how are you guys still handling that?
Yeah, for sure. At the time, we was still a little company. Then we tried to make a structure, but at the same time we were still a little company. We make a number, but not crazy number, for sure. And it was clear that at one times the market can stop, because nobody can imagine the same trend of the market, for sure.
So you didn't get aggressive with your orders, like a lot of companies did.
Yeah, for sure, very proportionate of my dimension, but we had the order under control, for sure.
Okay. And even afterwards, you felt like
even. And then
I have to ask you, with your experience, why do you think these companies went so crazy during this time?
Yeah, because at the end it's clear, because I understand, because at that time I was also visiting some dealer, in the case of in Milan, for example, Stefano is good. at the time was looking for a new bikes. He was visiting 10 dealer, asking about bikes, and every dealer ordering to the bike company a bikes. And then the number and the impression multiplied. And then nobody have the control. I remember when I was talking with SRAM or Shimano, they say, if you are not ordering now, you cannot have the bikes in 2 years. Hey, gringo, have to order. And everybody ordering a component. I remember a dealer that ordered a freewheel 5 times more than a year
than what he needs in a year.
Yeah, for sure, because you are crazy, because freewheel at that time was 11, 12. Now it's something that you have to put in the garbage, so because nobody can eat it. So it's and everybody was trying to take the opportunity. At the same time, the market was drugs, because at the end was no real market. Because also at that time, people that they are not able to do something different, they are riding bikes. And then this condition, person that bought the bikes and then now they are not riding and they are selling, then overstock of products.
That's where we are now.
Yeah,
that's where we are now.
Yeah,
so
you
think that there were a lot of new customers that came into the market that weren't real bikers, and maybe now they're selling their bikes. So the market
For sure, the trend, if you see the forecast from a big studio, they say for sure the e-bike market, the trend is positive.
Sure.
But in 1 year, we make the forecast of 4 years. So they make something like this.
Yep.
For sure, we have to reestablish the normality.
Sure.
The growth, the sold, the used bikes, the overstock. And then for sure, I think that the market still be positive, but for sure with the real number. So we have to clean every drugs problem, and then for sure the company like us, we have to work on the structure to build company or make the best organization in terms of marketing, in terms of sales.
Absolutely.
But
you've got to do your job.
For sure.
But right now it's hard for you. It's hard for everybody, I think.
Everybody. I think at the time, after COVID arrived also the war, and then people.
Ukraine.
So it's a finance problem. If you see around the world, the crisis arrived, and it's something that nobody was ready and able to approach. At the same time, the overstock create a multiplier problem. So it's at the end, nobody was ready to approach this problem.
But it sounds like you guys didn't make big orders. You didn't get kind of out of too we'll say like overstocked. So it sounds like you guys were able to handle that relatively well.
Yeah, of course. But at the same time, you can imagine when you have a THOK bikes. I'm thinking about a bike shop or my website. Then you can buy, because from the beginning we say we don't want to discount the products, because it's a way to respect people that invest money in THOK.
And you're not discounting even today.
We never discounted products. And then you can say, okay, why I have to buy THOK standard price, or I can find another very important brand at crazy discount? It's something that is not easy at the moment. For sure, have a big effect also in our brand, because people that love good products with a good price and so on, they invest money on it, and they say and they know that we are not discounting the products. At the same time, so you can understand people that bought 10,000 bikes. Then now they can find new at 50%. If they want to sell used bikes, they have to sell 1/4 or something like that. So it's not easy to manage. But from the beginning, we say we have to respect our investor, our clients, because they invest money, they believe in the company. We don't want to discount in products. I think it's a correct way, but at the same time, it's not easy to manage now. So because I know
there's a lot happening, so you guys have to kind of just wait for the market to kind of flush those through. So. And during this time, you was Livio Suppo and your partners, but you run the business.
Yeah, sure.
And so that's a lot of pressure also, I imagine, on you.
For sure, I'm saying for sure pressure, but we are super busy, because I think when you make your own business, you have to be ready to approach different problems and daily problems. This is a for sure problem, but fortunately we are not saving life. We are make something good. We are, pedaling. We say, during the Black Friday, save your money and invest your time in riding. So we have to keep this passion, we have to keep the clear idea and say, hey, we are doing bicycle. So I think I'm saying, okay, the new bikes, but also my old bikes, still keeping riding and passion. So at the end, we have to clarify the idea that, again, we are not saving life. So it's something that fortunately is our passion. We are doing a little number, we are still doing a little number. So I think we can survive, and special it's the perfect time to invest your quality to grow the company, as we are doing, make more performance in different sectors of the company, and be ready when the market restart. As you know, we are recently launched the new bikes with the frame complete made in Italy. Think in Italy, me, Livio, Rudy, our studio, design and also made in Italy and assemble the bikes in Italy with Bosch motor, with a good idea solution in terms of design. So I think that is the correct approach about THOKs. So
why did you guys decide to make this your latest bike in Italy?
well, because at the end, if you think about the situation, why have to buy THOK instead of discounting bikes? So I have to give to the client something different, the quality, control, the exclusive products, and makes something different. If you have a look to the bikes, it's completely different than other in terms of material, component, technology, and it's something that I hope the little number of THOKer can have attention to our bikes and keep the passion for our brand.
So you chose to produce here because of this specific project that you had, that you wanted it to be special, and to have it here.
Yeah,
it's a little bit. Is it easier to control it as well?
Yeah, for sure. Also to be more flexible, you have to control your supply chain. And I think to be here, for sure, it's more expensive because the technology that we are using is more expensive than Far East technologies. But sometimes we can be flexible. I can say if you want to buy Excel bikes in red or in white or in different size, I can build the bikes for you. I can have for sure component, but not thousands of bikes in stock. So, and if I'm not selling good, maybe I can be more flexible than have a crazy stock in house and then I have to sell it.
So it's a little bit also easier to react.
Yeah, for sure. I think at this time it's very important to be flexible.
Sure.
And we are little enough to be flexible and very reactive. This is I think, one of our priority, but also our advantage to the big company in the market.
So you started this company yourself, well, obviously with your partners,
with my partner,
but
with my employer also.
With your and you've grown it. It looks like it's been over since 16, so 8 years, and went through a pandemic. So I guess through that whole journey, I don't know. I'm curious to understand, like, when you're going through that and day after day after day, and knowing that you have to sell these bikes to keep paying the salaries and everything like that. Is it hard?
For sure it's hard, because if you think about the last 8 years, we have I think I know very well, old person, very, expert person in the bicycle business. They say we had a lower, we are, I think, at the lower position, and then with the pandemic, higher condition and crazy condition of sales, for sure. And under control and outside control of the market, because for sure at the moment and the pandemic and now I think it's a very difficult condition to control, but also to see the future. But I think again with our team, in THOK, we are still have a passion about the bikes. We are still in love to ride the bikes and make something to satisfy the passion about our riding, about your riding, and then is our focus. For sure it's not easy to manage this condition, because for sure take money for paid salary and approach this market is not easy, but help us a lot to have a good team, see longer than very short, and understand where the market is going. I'm still positive that for sure the market be back to the normal, and I think our client understand when you are doing something with passion and you are doing with professionality and with a good quality. This is the reason why also we bring the project to Italy.
So you're saying that you're confident that if you make a product that really kind of meets the needs of customers, that it's going to find a home no matter what.
Yeah, I think so. This is the reason why I'm still riding bikes. I'm still pushing my team partner and also my employer to ride bicycle, because if you ride bicycle, you can feel what you need. And for sure, if you are giving to the market in the correct number, but with the good quality products to satisfy the request about market, I think you can be there. Again, I'm competitive guy.
Sure, but
you can be first or the last, but be in the challenge. And for sure, I think also the new bikes with different solution, the more battery, with the good component, it's something that client understand, and they are ordering a normal price.
And so you're constantly searching to give, like, you're like a consultant for all the people that ride mountain bikes, and you're out there looking for the best solutions that customers can have or would want to have, and you're constantly searching for those, and that's what makes your bikes change.
For sure, it's clear that the market is changing, and I'm pushing my collaborator to say when they are buying or not buying the bikes, understand why you are buying, why you are not buying our bikes, why you are decide on another brand.
So it's not about you, it's about you plus,
for sure.
but also plus what you're hearing in the market.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have to be on the market for sure, especially in crazy condition like this, but also in the normal condition. I think my know-how saying to me, hey, you have to keep your eyes open, understand and see longer, and understand what the market asking for and also where we are going. Then I'm not the Magoo, so
no, of course.
we can do, but this is what we are doing now in THOK.
Right, and it's worked up until now.
Yeah.
So you also work with your wife.
Yeah.
And what's it like working with a family member? Is it a challenge? Is it?
It's challenge, but at the same time it's good because we are in the same team. So we are living absolutely, again, we are passion person, and we love to make our job, our things with passion. So when we are doing things, we are doing 100%, 110% our potential. We love to be competitive. We love the challenge. When the market is in difficult condition, or when the company is in difficult condition, it's difficult because we are both in the difficult condition.
Sure, you've got all your everything is here.
This is also our power because we are strong enough to support each other, and then it is for sure a positive point. For sure, it's not easy in the daily, when you have to do a lot of things together. Sometimes we have stress, but it's clear for each other that the focus is clear, we are doing our best, and we love to do it.
And one thing that you said that was really interesting, and I've seen this, I've interviewed a lot of entrepreneurs and managers, and I just keep seeing this again and again and again and again, is that in cycling, to be successful, you really have to be in touch with what the cyclists want. And if you're in cycling and you just want to, I don't know, it's like you can't cheat that system. Like you worked in cycling for a very, very long time. Why do you think, is it because when people go and they ride their bike, they're spending their time, their free time, so they're very, very, very focused on how that goes? It's because it's such a big part of people's lives when they ride. Is that why it's that way in your opinion?
I think the photo, I can talk about the photo that in my mind. So for sure, the market, special after COVID, give the opportunity a finance group to go into the market, and for sure people was starting to say, hey, it's easy to sell bikes. Then it's not real, because for sure, as we are saying, that you have to be in the market, you have to ride the bikes, you have to understand how the rider, the biker thinks. Yep. It's not a normal Excel file. Normally I say, okay, I make 10, it's easy. For 2, it's 20, it's easy for sure. But how you can make a double or triple? You have to satisfy, you have to understand the market, you have to be in the market. And also the market have to recognize you, that you are part of the market, and you have to create your credibility.
So it's a lot of trust involved.
Yeah, for sure. This is my point of view. I think it's real. If you see about a big company, they build the credibility, the trust, and they're still and keep pushing in this side, for sure. It's not something that arrives, say, okay, it's easy, I can do it, the same things. This is my idea, but I think it's, if you see around the world, see the last company that make a good result, they are good, challenge or good performance, Then if you go into the business, you discover that is a person that know the market, live in the market, and they are still riding, still knowing, and they are very curious, very obsessionate to this kind of business. Because unfortunately, this business have a big volume of passion consider other business.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And so your success, if I had to get, it's because you had the experience, you had, riding, you had the experience, you worked for 20 years with cycling brands, so you had a really good training, and we're in a really good position. So I guess, is there anything you want to say for people that maybe want to work in the business or looking at the business, kind of how they should approach it? Is there any kind of tips you can give?
My firm in my mail is keep patient.
Okay.
Our company is in the name is KP.
Okay.
At the end, I think this one of the main points. So if you have a passion, if you want to do something in your world where you want to work, you have to keep patient. So
you have to have passion.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
go deep, understand better how it works, and not be very
superficial.
For sure. You have to get deep, understand why we are selling the bikes, why we are making these bikes or other. I always doing my best in order to understand better why things happening.
Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for having me here today. It was really fun talking.
Thank you.
All right.
Stay in touch. Ciao.